You get to learn about genetics and flies. I know you're excited. If you're following along in the book, like you should be, it's chapter 15, chromosomal inheritance. So we've been talking about Mendel, and Mendel studied all of these traits and said that the traits were segregated and independently assorted, but he didn't know how that happened. And now we know that these factors or genes are located on chromosomes. So we're going to talk about the chromosomal theory of inheritance. And we had several people, including Sutton and Boveri, about 1902, that came up with this idea, independently of one another, that genes have specific positions on chromosomes, and that those chromosomes undergo segregation and independent assortment. So if we look at the position on chromosomes, we have a picture like this in our classroom, right? This is on a poster. This is just one chromosome, but you can see there's prostate and brain cancer, and colon cancer, and glaucoma. These genes are on these places on people's chromosomes. For the segregation and independent assortment, we go back to meiosis and how you have lots of possibilities of gametes when cells undergo meiosis. Then we have Thomas Hunt Morgan and his flies. He studied Drosophila melanogaster, which is the fruit fly. Notice this is in italics. If I was writing it, it would be underlined with two separate lines because it's a scientific name. And he chose Drosophila because they are prolific breeders. Like a single mating can give you hundreds of offspring. And they have a short generation time. So every 2 weeks, you have a new generation. They also have 4 pairs of chromosomes that are easily distinguishable under a microscope. Here are the fly's chromosomes, and we're going to look at a few traits. Let's see. Sorry. White eyes is going to be a big one. The first mutation he got was a white-eyed male. Black body, cinnabar eyes, vestigial wings. These are the traits we're going to look at most that are just going to keep recurring as we do these problems. Now, unlike Mendel, who could just go get more plants of different variations, Morgan had to rely on naturally occurring variants or mutations. And so mainly he let the flies breed and breed and breed and breed and breed and eventually got a white-eyed male. So Morgan's experiment, he took the red eye or normal flies. He'd have to use a female because the white eye was male, and the white eye, and mated them together. Now, real quick before we go on, he uses different symbols. And with flies, excuse me, we use different symbols. You take whatever the mutant form is, and you use its first letter. So in this case, it's white. So we're going to use a W. And then whatever is considered normal is called wild type. And that's going to be the same mutant letter, so W and a subscript, or superscript, sorry, plus. So, white, W, red, wild type. So, it has the plus sign with it. So, what did he do? He mated them together. Let's get a new slide. So, he did red times white, or red, or W plus by W, and guess what he got? All red. Did he get it right? Well, guess what happens if he does red times red, if he lets these guys interbreed? Think about it. 3/4 were red, 1/4 were white. That seems normal if it's just a dominant trait, right? But when you look at flies, you can tell a difference between their sex. So when he starts looking at them, all these white eyes, all males. You would expect it to be an equal number, approximately equal number of males and females. So somehow, eye color was linked to sex. So this is just kind of a summary of the experiment. If you cross the white eye male, red eye female, you get all red. If you cross them again, if you cross the children, you end up getting a quarter of your offspring are white eyes, but all males. And you can see that these are your two males, so they have this Y chromosome that does not have the trait on it, only the W's do. So even if the females are coded for white, like you can see here, it's the green chromosome, right? If they're coded for white, this other X chromosome has the red gene, which is dominant if both are present. So, Morgan's findings support the chromosomal theory of inheritance. And remember, chromosomal theory of inheritance is that specific genes are carried on specific chromosomes. All right. So let's say that's the end. Get ready to do some problems tomorrow.